like making some serious money. So at the end of
All right, guys, welcome back to episode 16 of The Young Startup, where we interview young people who are absolutely fucking crushing it in the game. Today, we got one of our mentors, an absolute beast, someone that has immensely grown ourselves, and we've seen him grow as well. Armin Shafee. To kick things off, just tell us a little bit about yourself and dive into your story, what you've been doing over the past few years here and what you're doing in current state.
Yeah, man. Thanks for having me. It's an honor, man. You guys know how much I love you. So, hey, what's going on, guys? My name's Armin. I'm the founder of highticketcoaching.com, and I have a serious passion for helping coaches develop leadership and become a CEO and scale their message and impact. I think there needs to be more coaches in the world actually doing good work for other people. So we're on a mission right now to help 1,000 coaches, help 1,000 people, which means we'll be helping 100,000 people over the scale of the impact. So I started 5 years ago as a coach myself. I'm in my fifth year now, and I went to Tony Robbins seminar. And I sat there as this young guy with nothing, not knowing what I want to do in my life, just knowing I wanted to do something big, but I don't know what. And I got inspired, man. I changed my life in that seminar, made a decision to dedicate the rest of my life in helping other people break through and really unleash their own potential, which grew into the multi-million-dollar company today. And we've done seminars in different countries, in different continents. We have this online program, scaling, helping all of these different people from different walks of life. It's really cool, man. Clients all around the world. It's just such an honor. And I think today's podcast will be really useful for anyone who's either in a low or a rut right now, or someone who's kind of maxed out at the ceiling and maybe they've achieved a lot, but they're going, what's next? So it's either you're at the rock bottom or you're at the top and you're empty. And I think this podcast will really help a lot of people out in those places. So.
Absolutely. And I can agree with that. At the end of the day, we were working with each other. We felt like we had a ceiling and we needed to break past that ceiling. And working with Armin, we've been able to develop a new belief system that has really accelerated our growth. And now we know the sky's the limit. So today's podcast is, predominantly Armin has a very, very strong background. He's actually a VP within the Think and Grow Rich institution. So we'll kind of dive into things like that, but purely let's just talk about mindset, what kind of mind that you've been able to develop to help you achieve what you've succeeded in so far. I'd love to kind of dive into Think and Grow Rich. What stands out to you? What are some philosophies that you essentially follow on a daily basis that has yielded the growth and success that you've seen?
Yeah, man. I could almost cry thinking about it. You guys are asking me that question. Brings me back to 3 years ago when I met the president of Think and Grow Rich Institute at a seminar, and he watched me speak for like 30 minutes, and he came up to me and he said, I'm very proud of you, for what you're doing at such a young age. You're good at what you do. And I said, thank you, sir. I would love to have dinner, maybe some lunch sometime. And we ended up going on lunch and dinner. In the first meeting with him, my entire goal was I'm this young guy. I want to be this next Tony Robbins in my head. I'm gonna work with the Think and Grow Rich Institute. This is the number one brand in the world. It's the first practical philosophy of success Napoleon Hill made 100 years ago. I sat there. I'm like, Mr. Verma. His name is Satish Verma. I said, Mr. Verma, I'd love to work with you guys. I'm really good at speaking and sales and training. Like, what can I do for you? He goes, what do you want? And I said, anything you want me to do, I'll do it. That's what I want. I want to work with you guys. He goes, yeah, sure. So what do you want? I'm like, no, you tell me. I got all the reasons. I know what to do. Just tell me what you guys need, what you want me to do. I'll do it. He goes, it's up to you what you want to do. And I'm sitting there and we went back and forth the whole lunch. We never actually came to a conclusion of what I can do with them to work with them. So we ended up not having enough time. We're like, okay, let's meet again for another lunch. So we did that again. We came for another lunch. And I sat down with them. We small talked and we got to the point. I'm like, listen, I want to work with you guys. You got to tell me. You got to tell me what I can do. He goes, what do you want? I'm like, Satish, come on, man. You got to tell me something here. And believe it or not, this happened like literally 4 times. We met up 4 times. He never told me anything about what he wants me to do for him. 4 times, 4 different lunches. And finally, the last time, the 4th lunch, we were sitting down. And I'm like, I don't know. I don't know what I want. I just know I want to work with you guys. And he goes, Armin, if your desire is strong enough, I can't stop you. And he said this to me. I'm sitting there. I'm like, what does that mean, man? And what's funny? A part of me went, imagine if I was the vice president of Think and Grow Rich Institute. Imagine I was partnered with these guys, man. That'd be crazy. But I'm like, how the hell would I do that? I'm just some random kid that's running some seminars. And these guys are the number one brand in the world. It's crazy, man. Years later, Fast Track today, he told me to go to Texas to hold a training for Think and Grow Rich as the vice president. And I was teaching CEOs the philosophy. And that was 2 years ago, man. And today, it's crazy as I'm recording this podcast at the time of this podcast. 2 days from now, I'm going over for lunch or dinner at his house. His wife is like a mom to me. And we're just so close. And it's crazy because, man, he mentored me through my immaturity to maturity. There's so much credit I got to give away to Think and Grow Rich. Satish is my mentor. Even his family, man, how they took me in and just really let me learn from them. At that time, my dad had cancer. He was passing away. He passed away. He was there in that time with me. I went through some ups and downs in my relationships, in my love life. He was there for me. There's so much, man, I learned from having a good mentor and asking the right questions and having him pour into me. I got to give 100% of the credit to who I am today for that mentorship and Think and Grow Rich. The philosophy taught me how to develop such a strong mind that nobody can mess with me. It taught me how to never be intimidated by anybody. It taught me how to believe in myself even when no one else did. It taught me how to have faith when there was no evidence for any reason for me to believe it. It taught me how to think big, man. It taught me how to prioritize the right things in my life. It taught me how to have peace of mind as I'm getting rich. There's so much I got from this. It's not just the book. That's underestimating what I'm saying here. It's everything, man. It's everything Napoleon's written. There's 12 books I've written from Napoleon alone. And there's so many. How to Own Your Own Mind, Master Key to Success. Like there's Master Key to Riches. There's so much. Law of Success alone is like a dictionary for success. It's not just the book, man. And it was the seminars. I went to dozens of seminars and I got to sit there as a student and listen at his feet. The way he would teach, man, he's right now close to 70 years old. And when he was 20, he was 19 years old as an immigrant in Canada. He owned 2 cars in a restaurant at 19 in the fucking 1900s, man. You're sitting there like, man, I thought I was cool. I got 2 cars right now, a sports car and a Mercedes sitting for the winter. I'm like, man, but I'm 25. I don't got a restaurant. I'm not in the 1900s when a sub shop is literally worth like $200-300 grand. He owned one. He had more money as an immigrant here. Like there's things this guy's done. It's like he's quiet about it. There's always the quiet ones that have the most wisdom. And I've been able to get so close to him. He's developed me, man, into the man I am today. And I'm so grateful. Like I said, I could cry about it because I'm in this industry. Obviously, there's lots of people teaching people how to build a coaching business. But man, nobody has the character, the mind, the kind of thinking that we do in my company. And that's completely and solely thanks to Think and Grow Rich. Not just the book, but the philosophy, the mentorship, the idea of how to look at life, how to approach things. And so I'm just grateful, man. Like having the right mentors and learning the right philosophy of life. Even Jim Rohn says you have to have a philosophy for living. If you don't have some form of philosophy to follow as a guide of your own in life, then you're just another person. You have no leadership in you. So, man, Think and Grow Rich, man. Think and Grow Rich.
I'm speechless, man. You just like the way you, number one, the way you communicate, the passion that you have, and just hearing that. And I've heard a lot, but that was just like, man, so fire. I don't even
wise.
Yeah.
Wise beyond your years, Armin, to say the least.
Man, I'm just a good student. That's it.
Exactly. What now, I'd love to learn from you. Like, let's say our audience is listening. What would you say what was the biggest needle mover for you? Like in terms of making that mindset shift, what Satish had said to you was, if you have the desire, you can make it happen. Nobody can stop you. For you, like, what was that thing that really was like, crap, I got to like do something, or I got to like focus on X, Y, Z to make this happen?
That's a really good question. And I'm smiling because I feel like the answer I'm about to give is about to release a lot of people who listen and hear what I'm about to say. It's about to release a lot of people from fear. It's about to release a lot of people from limitations in their life and issues. The biggest needle mover, honestly, in my mind, that really made the biggest shift in me. There were so many things, but the biggest one that turned me from just a young boy with some goals and some blind faith in himself to becoming this fucking force of nature. And I really do see myself as like a force. I go somewhere, I know the room feels I'm there. I know when I'm in a room, like somebody knows that I'm doing something big. They don't even need to talk to me. They'll just look at me. They're like, that guy does something big, man. The biggest thing that turned me into this person is one specific shift in perspective. And this one specific shift in perspective I'm about to tell you is like a domino effect, because the moment you shift this perspective, every fucking part of your life shifts. It's like a domino effect, and eventually everything's different. I read somewhere a long time ago, if you change the way you look at things and the things you look at change. It's never been truer, man. Because I changed the way I look at this one thing, and everything in my life changed. Everything around me changed. And here's what that one thing was. It was the idea that I don't need anything, and only things need me. Let me give you an example. I was in a relationship. I was in love with this woman. I realized through very good, accurate thinking and good mentorship that she did not love me as much as I loved her. And for that reason, I was very insecure in the relationship. I was a victim of it. I was not in control. I was out of her control. One day the shift happened. I said, whoa, I don't lose her. She loses me. Changed the entire dynamic of my confidence. And I was very secure again, my confidence. I wasn't afraid of anything. Fear left me. In business, I would be in sales. And I would get needy. I need this fit. I need the sale. I need the money. And then shifted it quickly. I said, I don't need them. They need me. They have the problem. I have the solution. I don't need their money. I'll have another person. I'll make money some other way. But I don't need them. Immediately put me into confidence and power in every sales call I did. When I built my business, man, and the people I have today that are on my team. At first, before thinking courage, before understanding this, I would be very insecure, thinking, I hope I don't lose them. I hope I don't piss them off. I want to make sure I'm nice to them. It was weird because it was my company, but I worked for everybody. I'm the one cutting checks, but I'm the one afraid of what they'll think if I don't do something for them. And it was a nice slap where I go, man, you guys I don't need you guys. It's not an arrogant thing, guy. I'm not talking about ego. I'm talking about realizing your own value and worth. I'm talking about accepting that you are the control of your own destiny. That if this person doesn't like working here, they'll leave and someone will come. That's called faith. And letting go of what if I lose them? It's no what if I lose them. I don't lose anything. Shift in perspective. I don't lose anything. They lose me. Wow. Man, this happened with everything. I bought my first sports car 2 years ago. I looked at my mentor. Same concept. He looked at me. I go, I really like this car, how much is it worth when you buy it? And I was asking questions that a young kid would ask. How much is it on gas? He looked at me, he goes, Armin, people who buy this car don't ask those questions.
Very true.
And I said, shit, man. Well, okay. And he's like, but always remember this. You're going to get this car. People are going to look. When you put your convertible down, they're going to talk to you at the stoplight. First of all these things have happened. You're going to get stares. People are going to take pictures next to your car in the parking lot. I'm like, wow, that's kind of weird, man. I'm not used to that. And he looked at me, he's like, but never forget this. It's not the car that makes the man, it's the man that makes the car.
Oh my God, man.
And I'm sitting there, I'm like, okay, I'll never forget that. So no matter what car I ever stepped into, I go, it's the man behind the wheel. Again, what is that teaching us? It is not that we are as an effect to others or things, that we are the cause to it. That this car is only valuable because I'm driving it. That this company only works because I'm here. That this person needs my help. I don't need theirs. That my team is lucky to be here, not the other way around. Not that I'm not lucky. I am very lucky, but for the reason that I know they're lucky to be here. The confidence and leadership I get gives them a place where they can actually learn and grow. They can trust me and follow me. Man, biggest thing, man, in my relationships, I don't need you. You need me. I don't lose you. You lose me. Some people might watch this and go, Armin, that's a little arrogant. You think you're better than others. No. This is very different. I don't look down to people anymore because I don't look up to people anymore.
Oh my God.
This is a big thing I learned, man, is you look at people eye level. You don't look up at a person. You don't look down at a person. Looking down means I'm better than you. Looking up is you're better than me. When I met the president of Think and Grow Rich, I said, he goes, what do you want? I said, in my life, I want to become the next Tony Robbins. I want to become bigger. He goes, look at this. Tony Robbins controls you. I said, what are you talking about, man? No, it's just my North Star. It's my pace setter. I want to be like him one day. I want to be bigger. He goes, why only bigger than him? Is he the biggest? I go, well, yeah. He goes, so see, the moment you think this, you immediately put Tony above you. You look up. He goes, you already then put yourself down. Again, I am effect to this person, not the other way around. That the power is not in my hands. It's in something else, someone else, some other circumstance. So immediately he goes, Armin, just be who you want to be. Who cares about Tony? This was a 7-hour conversation I had with him. He was trying to convince my mind. I'm like, I don't know, man. Like, I don't know how to think that way. He goes, yeah, because you don't believe in yourself. Your confidence is attached to another man. Fuck, you're right.
Wow.
That day, man, I changed it. It was about 3 years ago I had the conversation with him. And I looked at myself, I'm like, yeah, who do I want to be? And as soon as I start to think about how big I want to become myself, no comparison, you know what happened? I immediately saw Tony Robbins as just another person who worked really hard and got what he wanted. It went from idol, pace setter, North Star, big person, to, oh, he's just another guy. More time in the industry, worked really hard like me. Man, this identity shift, this perspective shift on how you look at yourself, biggest game changer, man. Let me tell you something. This is a shift in self-image, man. It's the very basis, foundation of what Think and Grow Rich is about. It's how you look at yourself. Most people live their whole life thinking about how will others look at me? How does my mom view me? How does my brother view me? How does my dad view me? What does my girlfriend think about me, my boyfriend? What will the public think when I post this? Everything is a cause to an effect to other people, man. They're victims. They don't even live their own life. They're living other people's life for them. They wake up, they're wondering, how am I going to look? Who's talked to me? Who's messaged me? How many notifications? Let me value myself based off how many people messaged me today. The biggest needle moving shift that TGR taught me was to stop that shit and only make it about what do I think of myself? That when I was at the gym and I was 25% body fat, overweight, and I was losing weight, there was guys ripped next to me. TGR taught me, I don't give a shit what this person's doing. They're different. I'm me. But guess what? I'm 1 pound less fat today than I was 1 week ago. That's why I'm great. TGR turned it from how am I smart? How am I great? To look at how I'm great. TGR shifted it from self-doubt, man, to self-confidence. The biggest shift was seeing myself bigger than what I used to think. And this expansion of self-image made me believe in myself more. And the difference in self-image, man, people ask me, like, what's self-image? What do you mean by that? I'll tell you the difference. It's two people walk into a restaurant. One person's thinking, man, they're so busy. I really hope they can give us a table. Other person's thinking, I can own this restaurant one day.
It's all perspective, the way that you look at things.
How you measure yourself, man, amongst this world is completely proportionate to what your future is going to look like. Some people never look further than the front step of their door. Some people never look further than what next week is going to hold for them. They never look further than the current circumstance. TGR taught me to look beyond. TGR taught me, man, to look so beyond that I feel like I'm bigger than anything and anyone. And it taught me in the best way possible how to keep humility while I do it, how to still stay humble and not let it get to my head. Because if you read Outwitting the Devil by Napoleon Hill, you'll also learn that drifting becomes a really big tool the enemy uses to throw you off when you're successful. That's my secret weapon, that no matter how much money we make in this company, it never gets in my head. Even when I get the compliments, man, it comes in and deflects. Because I know, man, I know. If you accept compliments from others, if you let people elevate you, make you a god to them, then even when the same person comes back and brings you down to your shit, you'll let it affect you too. If you accept compliments, you'll accept criticism. Again, based on the foundation, I don't need people, they need me. It could just end at I don't need people, and that's already healthy. But also realizing that you're such a valuable person that it's other people's blessing to be around you. In a very humble way, knowing your worth and value, you become a force of nature. People follow you, man. And I always knew this from day one, even though I had nothing, no experience, no results, no qualifications, no anything, man. I had nothing when I started as a coach. All I had was vision and a burning desire and belief in myself. So, when I was around people, they didn't have vision in their life. They also didn't have certainty like I did in themselves. So what did they do naturally? They fell to mine. So they followed me. They helped me. My second seminar, being a nobody, I had 17 people out of the 40 in my seminar volunteer for the next event. They want to work for me for free.
Wow.
I still remember that. I had 17 people sitting in a boardroom helping me plan the third event. And I'm like, man, I just launched this thing like 60 days ago. I'm like, why are they here? I'm not paying them money. It's not like I'm better than any of them. Some of them had certifications. They were 2-3 times my age. I'm like, why are they here? I know why when I look back. Because my vision was much bigger than anyone else's in that room. So they were inspired. And secondly, they were intimidated to some degree in a very positive way that I was so certain of myself, so sure of myself that I'm going to make it, that they just wanted to be there. They wanted me to take them with me. That's what leadership is, man.
Mm-hmm.
And if you don't understand this one principle I just talked about, you won't make it in business. And even if you do make a lot of money, you'll be depressed. People will own you. You might as well be poor because the money didn't change what's happening inside. That's the biggest needle mover. Changed my life, man.
Freaking crazy. I'm very curious because, you know, I'd say like 99% of people don't have this mindset. It takes probably took you as well a long time in order to develop that. Myself, when I'm trying to switch my perspective or change my mindset, it's all about repetition and habit. So when myself, for example, I want to develop the same mindset as you, what can I do in order to do that continuously and not fall off the bandwagon and not fall off track? Because a lot of people, that's an intimidating thing. What you just dropped was so much value, but it makes so much sense. What can I do like tomorrow or even today, current state, to make sure that this isn't just in the back of my mind and it's just like haunting me so that I can actually change my perspective and mindset so I can think like you?
Great questions, man. I'm telling you, we're about to change some lives.
Yeah, 100%. This is going to go viral.
They just learned the what. Let's give them the how. I was talking to my brother the other day, and we're in different places in life. He also had a very different childhood. He had a lot more he had to deal with, which is why he took on a lot of the weight of my family, kind of gave me the freedom to be able to find myself. So I'm grateful for him, and I help him out a lot. And we were talking about where he's at in life, and you know, he's in a low place. He wants to get out. He's now learning to build his future. And I thought to myself, I'm like, man, until someone reaches the turning point of enough's enough, they won't change, right? So recently he reached that point, and I saw him, and I was very proud of him because I'm like, man, I'm happy for you. You're so angry at your current circumstance and how everything is. You're like, fuck this, enough's enough. I'm going to make some difference. I'm going to make some changes. That's what has to happen to a person. Most transformation happens after the turning point of enough is enough. Until someone tolerates failure or misery or shitty results in life, they won't change.
Mm-hmm.
And I realized the difference between me and him is like, I have such a low tolerance for that. Because he was telling me about a situation. I'm like, dude, how do you do that? I can't even imagine owing people money like this and sitting around doing nothing about it. I'm like, it would bother me every day. But because his tolerance level for failure was much higher than mine, for whatever reason. So then I start to sit there and I'm like, what would he have to do to get himself out of this? Because I'm like, I've been in this place 3 years ago. I went to depression. Even though I built a successful business, it all crashed. I got challenged to grow again. And I was in a place where I'm like, I'm going to shut my company down, man. I don't know if I could lead people. I really don't know. And this was after me touring the country and doing seminars, like having all the success. I still felt lost. And I remember back then what I did to get myself out. And I was remembering because I was trying to help him out. I'm like, here's what you got to do. And this is very simple, man. Most people complicate developing themselves or pulling themselves out of a low place or developing themselves from scratch. It's very simple, man. I made a list of all the things I fucking hate in my life. All the problems I had that was really bothering me. And I decided wholeheartedly inside of my soul, with no exception, that I'm going to fix it. The moment you make that decision, everything shifts inside you. It's like clarity comes above you and you have release and relief because you go, man, everything's going to change because you know something inside of you clicked. Something so like it was such an intense decision. Something inside of you said everything's going to be okay because we're going to fix it now. That was the first thing I did. But it doesn't end there. It starts there. Now you know what you got to fix. The second thing I did is I started to change the way I see myself through repetitive suggestions. Now, this is very important. The whole foundation of Think and Grow Rich is actually based off of this. And the people who don't have the willingness to actually do this, man, persistently and consistently, they don't get the results that Napoleon talks about because people are lazy. They're not willing to do such a simple thing, but such a simple thing as speaking to yourself every day. So easy, so free. People are worried. What will people think if they hear me talking to myself? Oh, I don't want to sound stupid. Oh, I feel ridiculous. I feel embarrassed to do this. I don't want to yell in my shower. I don't want to look in the mirror and tell myself I'm great. That's weird, man. So they don't do it. And they let all the insecurities and the self-doubt and the limiting beliefs just linger in their mind. And let me tell you something, man, if there's anything I learned about getting out of depression, is if you let these shitty beliefs and thoughts linger in your mind, you always lose. Because the mind, man, is the intangible place in life. It's the informal. There's no form, right? So you have no physical grasp there. That means you can't win with the forces of your mind. You have to pull that shit out. Put it on a piece of paper or put it out in real life with words. Because the moment you bring it into the real world, the real realm, physical realm, you can do something about it. I can write it down on a piece of paper and throw it out. And weirdly enough, when you do stuff like that, it actually feels like you pulled it out. Mm-hmm. Most people don't understand this, so they let it linger in their mind. And when you let it linger in your mind, man, it's like an out-of-control snowball. It just gets bigger and worse until you're completely blinded. You can't see anything. It's the equivalent of driving in a car and you couldn't clean the fog off your window, so now you can't see anything. You're just driving, waiting to crash. That's what life becomes like. So what did I do every day, Brian? That changed me, that allowed me, the way I just told you about what moved the needle for me, about seeing how I hold the power in my life and nothing else does. That shift, it happened over time, not instantly, but the starting point was 50% of it. I just decided I'm going to be different. I'm going to decide I'm going to fix this. I decided it's not going to, enough's enough. Then 50%, the remainder of it was just repetition, man. Intense, emotionalized repetition of suggestion. What do I mean by this? I'll give you an example so that people can actually go do this right now. Every morning I'd wake up. I'm like, come on, baby, today's going to be the day. Every morning. I had a lot of motivation to think that way, man. I had nothing going. All I had was sheer determination to change it. I'm like, come on, baby. Today's going to be the fucking day, man. It's going to be the best day of my life. I would get up. I'd read my goal out loud by December 31st. I'm going to earn and receive in my possession this much money. And this will come to me in various amounts from time to time during the interim. This is Think and Grow Rich, man. This is the goal statement. People don't even have enough energy and effort to read that shit twice a day, morning and night. They don't even do that. They want to change their life. You can't reach a goddamn goal to yourself. You want to change your life? Don't complain, don't bitch, don't moan, don't cry. Because if you're not willing to even reach your goal every morning and night, then you deserve what you have. What a small thing. Now, some people might go, well, I'm not doing it because I don't see the point of it. And that means you're uneducated in how your mind works. They do not understand the power of their own mind and how it works. Your mind is like a computer. And any computer that you do not know how to code will not have any purpose in software. You need to learn how to code your mind. Right now, the code you got going on, the JavaScript in your mind is shit, right? It's failure. It's broke. Whoever, the programmer that came in, aka yourself, or other people around you that influence your mind to think shitty things, the programmers that develop the mind you have right now screwed you. Because it says, if wake up, do nothing. That's the fucking code. You guys do programming, you get the point, right? When you program websites, that's how it is. It's if this, then that. If that, man, your mind is made up this way. You're literally sitting there. If wake up, do nothing. If bad shit happens, lose faith, get fearful. If set goal, be doubtful. Like literally, your entire mind is programmed to just puke out shit. And then you want to develop this great life, right? No, man, no, you can't. You got to erase all the code. You got to go in there and reprogram this shit. You got to write some new code, man, new code lines. You got to write millions of new code lines of what is the rules to how you think. You set some boundaries, some standards, some rules in your mind. Here's how I'm going to be. Here's how I'm going to think. Here's how I'm going to respond to things. So I woke up I'm going to change first code. I erased everything, reset, fired the programmers, fired the development team, fired the manager, the overseas fucking, I fired them all. And I'm like, I'm going to start programming my own. I'm going to learn code. Great. It's called Think and Grow Rich. That's the coding training course. Okay. If you want to learn how to code your mind, you buy Think and Grow Rich. So sat there. I'm like, first line. If I'm alive, I'm fucking getting what I want. If I'm alive, I'm getting what I want. If this, then that. Second line. There is nothing I cannot do. If faced with adversity, I'll find a fucking way. If I have no energy, I'll find energy. If I have no resources, I'll find resources. If this, then that. If I set my mind to something, I'm going to get it. If I get a problem, I'm going to fix it. You guys are saying they're like, that's simple, Armin? Yeah, man. I'm proof right here. I'm sitting right here.
I was in depression 2 years ago. Now I'm in the greatest point of my life. I'm living a dream that most people don't live their whole life. They can't even imagine this. I'm very grateful. But it came at a cost. Came with work. And not the work in a business or in a job, not the work of my money, the work of myself. So I sat there every fucking day, man. Read my goal. I memorized it. This money's coming to me in various amounts from time to time during the interim. In return for this money, I'm going to give the most efficient service of which I'm capable of. I'm going to give the highest possible quantity and the best possible quality of service as an outstanding coach to my clients, teacher to my students, leader to my team, and online marketing expert. While I help my clients hit 5- and 6-figure months consistently, help my team become experts in their field, and I'm going to become so indispensable, so fucking irreplaceable that people from all around the world in the tops of the industries will be lined up to pay me anything to work with me. I had nothing, guys, when I was saying this. I had nothing. Today, these statements are true. That's how fast this shit works. And it works fast, man. When success rains, it pours, it floods. It's insane. But most people don't make it long enough to see it. Most people, man, they walk until they're 3 steps from gold. And then they quit. But let me tell you something. Perseverance is the enemy of failure, man. Someone who never quits decides that they'll never fucking quit until they get what they want. You know what happens? Time eventually gives up and gives them what they want. If you really understand TGR, you understand that's the truth. So every morning, man, I woke up, I read the goal. And then I get up and I'm like setting my day up. I'm like, today I'm going to work out. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do things that help me fix my problem. I'm not going to waste my time with stupid shit. I'm not going to go see my friends. I'm not going to see my family. I'm not going to go on Facebook. I'm going to go do the things that are bothering me and I need to fix. I'm going to do only things that matter. I optimize my time to only do things that matter. What is productivity? Only doing the things that matter towards the goal. Only. I go to the gym right off the bat. I'd start reading. I'd meditate. I'd do things to help me work on myself, to restabilize my mind because I was in a bad place. Then I would go out. I'm like, let me fix the business. And I focus, man. My team, you can ask my team. They saw me. Half my team that was here now. They saw me. Something turned on because I made a decision first and I started to reprogram my mind. Every morning, every night, read my goal. I took every opportunity I could to read out loud to myself my goals and to tell myself who I'm going to become. In the car, I had at least 15 to 20 minutes there and back every day. I had 40 minutes right there where I didn't have to waste my time listening to music or do nothing or do stupid shit. All I did was put on movie scores, Avengers theme songs, and just yell in my car. I'm going to be so, man, I would drive. This was my saying 2 years ago, a year and a half ago. This was my saying. I would drive. I'm like, enough is enough. No more fucking poverty. I'm going to make so much money that I'll never again know what it feels like to not have money for something. I would say this shit to myself. Again, today these statements are true. Back then, I remember my brother called me. Hey, man, can you e-transfer me $500? I'm like, dude, I'm so sorry. I actually don't have it. You know how embarrassed I felt, how bad I felt? After 3 years of being in business, after 2-3 years of being in business, I don't have fucking $500 to send my own brother. Like something's wrong here. Something has to change. Enough is enough. I hung up that phone. I'm like, enough's enough, man. I'm going to get so fucking rich that I'll have more money than I'll ever need. I get to help everyone in my life. Again, today these statements are true. And it just started with a saying, man. It just started with something I told myself. It started as this intangible thought brought into tangible form through my words. And those words went into the world, went into the energy, went into the atmosphere, and came back to me in real life. Every morning, man, I drive. I'd go there. I'd go back anywhere I went in the car, even though I didn't feel like it. Sometimes I'm like tired. I'm yelling. My voice is going in the car, but I'm still going. I'm going to be so fucking rich, man. I'm going to be so muscular, so fit. And when I take my shirt off, everyone will stare and their mouth will drop. I'll be chiseled. My abs will be like deep cubes, like a great cheese on my abs. I would say stupid shit like that. Right? Again, these statements are true. Still working on the abs though, but these statements are true. I'm in the best shape of my life, man. I was overweight. I was so shit. I would say it. I'm like, my business is going to be so successful, man. I'm going to pay 6 figures a year to people that work for me. Man, I would say this shit every chance I got. If I wasn't working, I was yelling at myself. I was programming my mind. Repetition of suggestion. So listen, man, that's the make or break. That's the make or break. I looked at my brother when I was talking to him. I'm like, you're not willing to do that. You're not going to do that shit. It seems ridiculous to you. You don't see the value in it. You don't see the power in that. You're like, why would I talk to myself? And I always see this, man. I wake up, I see him, and I'm like, you don't spend any time with yourself, do you? Any. How do you expect to change? You give no time to yourself without anyone's influence. You never give time to yourself to influence yourself. You give more time to your fucking phone than you do to your own mind. You give more time to your friends and your family than you do to your own mind. Most people want to change, but they won't even give a fucking minute to the person that's living the life they want to change. That was the big difference.
Mm-hmm.
I'd be in the gym shower, man. You think I give a shit that there are people there showering? I don't give a fuck. They were listening to me. I would be on. I'm like, today's gonna be the best day of my life. I now command my mind, body, and soul to align to make today the best day of my life, so I can make more money, book more calls, and achieve my goals today. So I've been the most productive. All the meetings I have, so it goes so well. I create breakthroughs for my clients. They're like listening to me, like, what the fuck? I'm just saying. I'm like, I'm gonna be so fucking, man. I'm a beast. I would talk myself. I'm like, I'm a beast. I'm like, throw me into the gym. Watch what happens. I would drive to the gym. I'm like, throw me into the gym. They're not ready. The weights are not ready for me. They don't know what's coming. I'm like, throw me into this industry. Watch what happens. I'll be at the top in no time. They don't know what's coming. Armin's here. Guys, you know what's crazy is, like I said, today, a lot of these statements are true. Back then, nothing. No evidence. No reasons. You know why people stay stuck for the whole life? You want to know why? I'll give you the secret right now. They wait for their surroundings to give them a reason to believe this shit. That's the problem, man. You're waiting for someone or something outside of you to give you the fucking permission to believe in yourself. And that's why in my program, even with you guys and anyone I work with in the clients, I always say this. I go, a good month or a bad month, doesn't matter. Shouldn't change how you feel. You make 0 months in sales, you make great months in sales. It should make you feel nothing different. Because what happens around you should not control what happens inside of you. So if you're watching this right now, you're like, man, what do I do? Man, I just told you what to do. Don't pretend like you didn't hear me. Don't pretend like you didn't hear me and how simple that was. You sit your ass down, you take a piece of paper, you write down all the new code of your mind you want to believe. All the new belief systems, all the ways you want to think of life. And you start reading that shit every day, every chance you get, in the car, in the shower, when you're sleeping, when you wake up, when you're fucking working. Instead of talking or listening to something, say it out loud to yourself. As you're sitting here and working, I'm the best. I'm a beast. Watch me. Watch me get this. I'm going to be so rich. I'm going to be so fit. I'm going to be so happy, so successful. One of my favorite mentors runs a $50 million company. He was at a fireside chat. Someone asked him, how do you develop self-confidence? He goes, well, it's just self-compliment. But some of you guys don't even do that. Like he'll sit down and he'll be like, I love my hair. I love my family. I love my face. I love my life. I love my skills. People start laughing. And he got upset. He goes, you guys are laughing, but you don't get it. That's real. That's why you don't believe in yourself, because you never spend time complimenting yourself. Mm-hmm. Self-compliment equals self-confidence. Never forgot that saying he told me. Every day, man, I'm my best friend. You know what's the most common pattern amongst the most successful people I've met? They are their own best friend. You know what's the most common pattern I see amongst the most failures I've met? They are their own enemy. If you don't criticize them, they'll do it for you first. Mm-hmm. If when they fail, you don't bring it up, they'll bring it up to themselves every day. If you don't tell them they look like shit or look good, they'll make sure they tell themselves, I look bad today. You give them a compliment, they'll take it, deflect it, replace 2 criticisms in its place. Hey, man, you looking good today. I feel like shit and my leg hurts. Oh, bro, that's great. You closed the sale. Yeah, but I lost like 5 others, and I still don't know what I'm doing. They're their own fucking critics, man, and they're expecting to build a confident life. Man, stop this. Stop. We got to wake up, man. If you're watching this, wake the fuck up. Okay? Would you be in a relationship with someone that constantly nagged you, never really gave you time or quality to love you, never asked how you're feeling, never tried to elevate you, never tried to believe in you? Would you be in a relationship with someone that treated you like shit like this? The answer is no. The question is, why the fuck are you in a relationship with yourself then? Why? And that's the answer, man. Most people, they're broken up with their own self. They're in an unhealthy, dysfunctional relationship with themselves. And they don't know how to get a divorce, because that means dying. So they just live with that person for the rest of their life. And unless they change themselves, nothing will change.
Mic drop. Yeah. Man, you could literally speak for freaking hours on this stuff. You're so passionate, and I can speak from what I've experienced over the past 3 months of working with you, you just had a $200,000 day and you were freaking broke a year and a half ago, depressed, miserable, and you switched things. And like you said, you were in the gym, you were saying all these things, but they weren't true. But fast forward to now, they are true. You manifested the reality that you wanted to create for yourself by starting with yourself first. Because at the end of the day, if you don't start with yourself, how can you impact anyone else? Right? So that was fucking powerful as fuck. I don't know if you have anything else to say there.
I need the recording to this, man. I got to give it to
you. You'll get this recording. No, man. Yeah. Like, just crazy the way that you're able to make that shift and be so consistent with it. I think, a lot of people will end up having, I think a lot of people will listen to this and just be like, I got to do this. I got to make this change. And then they start. And then, 2 weeks later, they drop off completely.
Yeah.
So I guess my next question would be like, in a situation like that, how does somebody snap back into it? How does somebody snap
Very
back
easy.
into it?
Very easy. Remember how shit it is. Very easy, right? Listen, if you lie to yourself, brutal self-honesty is one of the major foundations to change, real change. I have to be brutally honest with myself. A lot of people will give themselves affirmations of like, I'm powerful, I'm wealthy, If you listen to what I was saying to myself, I never said that shit. What did I say? I said, I'm going to be. I'm going to be. Now, some people in the spiritual world will say, no, your subconscious is going to think you're not then. The gap. You have to magically manifest by saying it already is. Now, listen, I'm not a spiritual expert. I'm not. I don't consider myself an expert of anything, actually. Just still learning myself. Do I get some results? Yeah. I will tell you from my personal experience, you can listen to whoever you want. Joe Dispenza, Bob. Listen, I have directly met the CEO of the Napoleon Hill Foundation, directly dove into thinking courage. There are very few people in this world that have studied this philosophy like I have and like my mentor has. Let me tell you something. Belief is the actual critical factor to anything happening. It says whatever your mind can conceive and believe, it can achieve. Conception is very easy. Anyone can think of anything. I want to be a trillionaire. Okay, that's great. You conceive the thought. Great. Do you believe it? No. The 96% gap between successful and unsuccessful people is just that, the word belief. Do you know what that means? Is when you say something, you actually think it's going to happen. That you actually can consume the fact that that can happen. Then you achieve it. So now the question is, when someone's broke, overweight, depressed, right? How on earth are they supposed to believe that they're rich, wealthy, healthy, this, that? That's what most spiritual people do. The seminar junkies, I used to be one. They're so busy feeling good about saying stuff, they're not doing anything. The main difference, the slight difference, is that I was honest with myself. You know what I used to say in the shower, actually, right in the beginning times when I was switching? I had to be real with myself, or else I felt like I was bullshitting myself. And if you're bullshitting yourself, nothing's happening, eh? Because it's not the word. Guys, you ready for this? It's not the word that enters the subconscious mind. It is the feeling. It's not the fucking words. It was the feelings, man. When I was yelling, saying enough is enough, no more poverty. Am I saying poverty? Yeah. Most experts will go, oh, now you're putting poverty in your subconscious. No, man. Because when I was yelling that, you know what I was feeling? Power.
Yeah.
I was feeling breakthrough, man. I was saying that I'm going to be fucking rich, man. I was saying no more fucking poverty. In my mind, I'm like, that means I'm going to be rich. The feeling is what went into my subconscious that brought me all the stuff in my life. It wasn't the words. So when you say something that sounds good, but you don't feel good, it's over, man. So you know what I would say in the shower in the beginning? Funny, you're going to laugh because this is so this contradictory to like most spiritual teachers, right? That's why I'm not a spiritual teacher. I'm a realist with an optimistic point of view and a spiritual background and understanding how things work. That's really what I am. You ready for this? I would say things are shit right now and I'm going to fix it. That's real, man. That is real. I would say to myself, things are shit right now and I'm going to fix it. And when I said, I get goosebumps now. When I used to say I'm going to fix it, there was so much feeling in me, so much faith because I was being honest. Things are shit. I'm going to fix it. People miss the honesty part. That's why they get no results from this stuff. They skip the things are shit. They're in denial. Hey, dude, you're fat. No. I'm healthy. No, man, you're not. You want to change? Dude, I'm fat and I'm going to get ripped. You got to be honest. I got more out of being honest and future pacing my goal than pretending it's now. Now, if I was really ninja, maybe I learned how to trick my own mind and sit there and really feel like I am and nothing's bad. Maybe that is the secret. I don't know, man. I haven't tapped into that. But I do know this. The realistic way to do this, that is the most guaranteed way, is to be honest and then say it's going to change. The only person, man, who struggles in life and suffers is the one who is unwilling to do the work to change. So when they say it, it's being fake. Oh, I'm going to change this. Yeah, I'm going to change. And then I'm going to go eat a potato after, right? Like, no, man. You won't believe yourself. So how do you get back and snap back and never fall off? You keep remembering how shit it is until it's not shit anymore.
Mm-hmm.
And then when it's not shit anymore and things are good, you keep remembering there's more to be had. And when you get some more, you keep remembering life is about much more than what you have. And then when you get a much more than what you have, you start remembering life's not about me, it's about others. And eventually, man, you never have an end to this purpose of your life. You're always giving and always growing and always expanding. Growth, contribution, growth, contribution. You become this never-ending vortex of just harmony and confidence and growth and value. It just never ends. This is how you permanently stay successful. This is how you permanently get out of poverty for good, man, forever. I'm never going to see poverty in my life again. It's a great feeling to know that. Never, man. I have the skills to never have to worry about money again. I have the skills. I developed the skills and the muscles. I have the character of a person. I will never tolerate failure. And that's the last point I want to make. Is the only reason why someone would fall off is because they tolerate too much failure and shit in their life. This is the person who stays in a relationship that's unhealthy and they get treated like shit, but they never leave because they're insecure. This is the person who is willing to borrow money, go into debt, knowing they're never going to actually do the work to fix it or pay back. This person sleeps at night knowing I borrowed money from this person. I probably won't pay them back. How do you help that person? You don't, man. No one other person can help that person. The only person that can help them is themselves. Because when I was in depression and I looked at my mentor, I said, Satish, I feel like shit. I feel like I'm losing everything. What do I do? He goes, you're fucked. I'm like, what do you mean? He goes, you're complacent. I'm like, what do you mean I'm complacent? He goes, it's a smug satisfaction for your circumstances, but it's not enough to move you, and it's just enough for you to be comfortable, but you're kind of comfortably miserable. And I'm like, that's exactly how I feel. And he looked at him and he goes, nobody can help a person who's complacent. Only themselves. And I'm like, oh, God. I was so upset, man. I was so scared. But this is my mentor, the president of Think and Grow Rich, telling me I'm fucked. What do I do now? And something, man, I think he did the right thing because something inside of me turned on. He scared me so much about staying here for good that I'm like, no. I'm going to fix this. That created the motivation in me to go, no, I'm going to change.
Yeah.
My tolerance level for shit dropped. My expectation of success went up. You'll never fall off when you keep remembering how shit it is and you decide, I'm going to fix it. And you got to tolerate way less, man. Too many people's standards are too low. So you allow people to talk shit to you, for you to have shitty results, for you to have a shitty life, have a shitty health. That's because you're okay with it. And you only get in life, man, what you are willing to accept. That's my answer, man.
Wow. Damn, man.
Speechless, man.
This is the greatest podcast interview I've ever done, man. I'm feeling
I was going to say, like, I've heard a lot of fucking shit, inspirational stuff from you, but this is like next level stuff. Like, massive breakthroughs for me. I'm probably going to listen to this podcast every single morning now.
I'm going to listen to myself.
Armin, man, I appreciate the time. We'll cut it off there. I think you've already given enough knowledge to our audience, and you probably inspired me and Eric more than ever before. Thank you so much for your time. I don't know if you have anything else to add on to that, Eric.
No, man. Yeah, appreciate it. If you want to, how can people connect with you? How can people find you? Pimp yourself up a little bit.
Honestly, you can catch me on Facebook, just Armin Shafee, ARMINSHAFEE. Or you can check out our website at highticketcoaching.com. That's pretty much it, man. Or find me on Instagram, the Armin Shafee. I'm sure you guys can post it, whatever. But reach out to me if something stuck out to you. Send me a DM. I always like to check my messages and talk to people. So
cool. Sounds good. Appreciate the time again.
Thanks, Armin.
love you, man. Thanks for inviting me.
Love you too, bro.